Okay guys, I want to do a quick video. I'm repairing my Galaxy A51 and I watched a bunch of other videos on the web, but they steered me wrong. So I wanted to record this so that you guys could see. I have a broken port, charging port, and all the instructions say you have to separate the screen and the bezel from the thing to change it. After I talked to AI, it said, no, you don't need to do that. So with its help, I was able to see what I had missed. So anyways, getting this back piece off, it's not super hard. That's probably the most, I used a heat gun or actually a hair dryer to soften and then soften the glue. And then it came off. It was all around the edges. You can see there's the glue. I'll take that off when I re-put it together. So I've got that off. And then there was this, which is a cover that goes across it. You take that off, it's easy. It just pulls right off and it snaps out of place. Then there's a whole bunch of screws on the bottom that apparently I didn't need to take out. You can see them here, here, here. They're like literally everywhere for taking the phone apart. Well, to get this daughter board, I guess you'll call it, out, you can see there's the new one. I removed all the screws, and also there's a couple of different, where's my pointer here? There are a couple different points here. You can see like right here, you have to do these ribbon cables. Be very careful. I used a plastic spludger that came with the kit. It looks like that, so it's kind of like a little pry bar. It worked perfect. They popped right off. I still could not get the daughter board out, and that's when following the other instructions, I thought I had to remove the screen from the bezel that goes around here, or I don't know what you call that. I guess it's the metal frame of the thing. But then after I talked to AI or listened to AI, I used my jeweler's loop, which, by the way, I recommend getting one of these jeweler's loops. They are super handy for looking at things. You can see how you can see really, really tight up on things and inspect things. Anyways, when I did that, I found that there was a little tiny screw that was like right here in the middle of the board. Once I removed that, it was super easy. It just came right out. Like literally, you just unplug it from here, which I'll do in a second. You just take this board out, drop the new one in, and you can see that's what it looks like. Let me get so there's light so you can see. Sorry about the lighting. I'm recording on my alternate phone, my Linux phone, which is pretty cool to have a backup phone. So I encourage you guys to support the UbiPorts Linux program. They're fantastic. They are bringing a full Linux to the phone environment as a kind of like an ultimate de-Googled phone. Anyways, you can see here, I'll clean this out really good. It appears as though when I was looking at this phone, something I didn't know is I think I might have had a little water intrusion at some point. You can see there's that blue thing. I think that is indicating that could be the time that I dropped my phone inside of a tumbler of diet soda. So, but it worked fine for years and years after that. So I guess it only got a little bit wet. But anyways, I just wanted to give you guys this pro tip. So just look for that one tiny screw that's inside of it. Of course, there's all those other screws you have to take out of it, but just know that there's a tiny, tiny black screw. I mean, it is so small. I'll show you here on the video. I'll put it right here. You can see how small that is. Like, I couldn't even see it. That's how, and because it's black and dark compared to the board, that's why I couldn't see it. But anyways, that should get you to be able to fix your phone and you'll be back in business. I'll pause this video and then I'll do an update when I have it all back together and it powers on so you can see. Okay, a couple caveats to putting this all together. By the way, spoiler alert, it's working, but it took a couple tries. The main problem that I encountered was this, where the main ribbon cable, where this plugs in right there on the motherboard, or the main board. Right here is where it plugs in. That was not seated properly. So what I wound up doing was under here, I mushed off the tab or the snap for the battery, and then I reseated that and then I did it in reverse order. So I went ahead and reseated this, and then I reseated the battery. At that point, the screen came on. Before that, I was having a problem with this. When I inserted the power cable into it, it was doing a like a cycle where it would vibrate 2 times, and then it would stop for a second, then vibrate 2 times again. And that was because, again, everything wasn't seated properly. So did that. Another pro tip on this too, or I guess it's an amateur tip since I'm doing it, but another tip that I could tell you is this: make sure you take a picture of the screw positions of all the screws before you take it apart, or before you remove any of the screws, because I did not have the bottom screw that holds the board in the correct one. I had it in one of these, and then I couldn't put the other screw back in, so I had to wind up taking this whole piece out again. So anyways, it's all back together. I'm not going to put the sticky tape on there at this time, but I will show you that it boots up here. I'll just put this on here for now, and I'll turn it over, and let me boot it up. And you can see it is now rebooting again. So it is working here. Just so you can see, this is the old part that I took out. And what had happened is, you know, just like everybody else, I had it on my nightstand. It got knocked over, and it bent that interior. I think one of the connectors. It lasted for probably a year like that, where I could wiggle it sideways and get it to work and then not work, and finally it got to the point where some days I couldn't charge it, and it got down to 1% or something like that, or turned off completely, and then I'd get lucky and charge it. So that's why I bought this board. This swap was super easy, so I recommend doing it. And it was only the part, and it came with all of these tools, except for this, of course. Yeah. But it came with all these tools here, a bunch of spludgers, all things except for that, not that thing. Good. But yeah, it came with all that stuff, and it was only I think $12 or $15. And everybody likes to have one of these right here, have an extra one of those. It came with that, so it was a good deal. Anyways, that's the video. So it's booting up slow, but it'll boot up here in a second. And yeah, so just the main thing is you don't need to remove the screen or the bezel on the side to be able to change your power port. So anyways, I just thought I'd let everybody else see that, so they didn't make the same mistake I made and start trying to remove the screen, which is super glued in together. So okay, all right, thanks for watching.